everybody. Welcome back to Krystal Tini TV. I have a very dear friend on today who has as big of a mouth as I do. He is fiery and Italian. He's a former Chicago PD. He's a radio host, loves cigars, loves to talk about love, relationships, and all kinds of very controversial topics. I've been on his show many, many times, Rants of Izzo. So I'm super excited to have Dominick Izzo joining me today to talk about everything in life.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Dom, I'm so happy to have you today with Krystal Tini TV. I know that I've been playing, not cat and mouse, but you've been trying to reach me. And then I was just like, oh my God, I would love to have Dominick on with me because I've been watching your videos lately. And I'm like, I would definitely love a egotistical Italian male to come on to the show and talk about all this relationship stuff. Like, I've grown up with a lot of Italians that are just like you. And there's a lot of people that don't know how to take you because you're very forward. You just say exactly how you feel. Like even yesterday on the phone with me, you said something to me. And I was just like very caught off guard. And I'm not often caught off guard, but it's just one of the traits of an Italian alpha male. I can honestly say that. Like, I've grown up with all Italians and it's just not surprising to me, but to people that don't know really the Italian culture that much, it's like a little abrasive for people. Do you agree with that?
I do. I think it's passion. I think that's what it is. It's always intensity, right? I will never forget. I used to work at TGI Fridays back when one of my first jobs when I was a kid, and I had a bunch of wow pins. It was for awesome service. So when we wore the suspenders, you had all your flair, all this, and all of us loved getting those wow pins. And I'll never forget. I was dating a girl, I was 22 years old, and she goes, I need to get you a giant wow hat because you're so intense and you're always seeking approval. So those are the two things as a young man that I had, which was not so much alpha, but it was a proclamation of almost like validation. Like, hey, this is who I am. This is who I am. And I'm seeking attention and validation from other people. And that was, I think that was a big mistake too, is a lot of people thought my arrogance came from that when it was massive based from insecurity.
Do you feel that way now?
No.
I mean, I'm sure you've changed and everything, but you've transformed into a much different version of that or of yourself.
And it's been out of necessity, right? We only do two things in life. We do things in life, anything in life, for one of two reasons: to avoid pain or to go to pleasure. So if you're, and most of us, pleasure is going to be on the lower end of the scale, right? So we're always avoiding pain. I have found out, whatever I said to you yesterday is going to come from a place of, doesn't matter what it is, business, personal, whatever it is, it's going to be a place of time is the most valuable thing we have right now. And as you know, not a lot of us, due to the social media, our time and attention is wanted so much. I just won't waste my time with anything anymore. So now one of the main things I do is I put everything on the table, and it's not a take it or leave it. It's, hey, this is what I'm serving for dinner. If you want to eat, here you go. It's here for you. So that has been the flip side of the coin now. Now it's a time saver because I won't waste my time in any facet. So now it's just intensity, but with the proclamation of, hey, this is who it is. Take it or leave it.
No, I really love that, Dom. And I'm not really intimidated by many things, but I will say when a man, it's ridiculous to say this kind of, but when a man truly knows what he wants and he just comes right out and says it to you, I'm just like, wait, you mean there's no games here? Like, I don't have to do any of this. Like, I'm not going to text him back right away kind of thing. Like, people are so used to that now, Dom. It is infuriating, but it's also almost like a comfort in a way, because it's just like, well, I have time to think about this and I can, do this or that. But with you and how blunt and direct you are, you're just like, this is what it is. Like, that's it.
We all talk about that scarcity mindset. It's like, don't have a scarcity mindset. Anybody who has a scarcity mindset today is a fool because of the amount of availability. If we're talking dating or courting or whatever, yes, I have a massive ego for a reason. I'm 47. I'm healthy. I'm successful. I have no kids. I've never been married. And every red flag that a woman has said over the years, oh, well, you're not married. You don't have kids by now. Something must be wrong with you. Now it's, well, these are the greatest things I have going for me. So now the scarcity mindset I don't have. And if I see something, I do not waste time with games are ridiculous. Every one of us plays.
They are.
Played them. I played him so bad. You know, I say all the time, I am a womanizer. You know, it's like I have friends who are alcoholics that haven't had a drop of alcohol in 15 years and they still say they're an alcoholic. Yeah, in my 20s, I was a degenerate, but so I'll still say I'm a degenerate womanizer because that was a part of me. But now I can't stand the games. But what I
Yeah.
do like is the games together. So it's, hey, we're either going to do this or not. I do appreciate, like, specifically in dating, the courting phase,
Yeah.
the perpetual dating phase. I don't care if
Yeah.
you marry somebody. My goal is to marry a woman that I will date forever, but the games will be played together. I just off the bat, it's like either interested or not. You know, I'm not going to
Right.
sit there and kind of waste my time giving you my attention because I do not enjoy that anymore at all.
Right. No, but Dom, it's just so admirable because no matter what the age is, men are playing games. Like there's someone that's around here that, was into me, and like I wasn't interested in him like that. He's a very good looking guy, successful, whatever. But game player, and he's like over 50, and like I don't normally date like older guys anyway, but it's just goes to show the game playing is done at any age until you get to a point where you're so sure of yourself and you're so sure of everything that you are that you're just like, you could take this or leave it. I'm going to keep it moving if you're not.
Yeah, one of the best things I ever heard is the strongest negotiating position is being able to walk away from the table and mean it. It's it. How many times? And this is for men, huge.
True.
This men
Yeah.
hunt, women choose. It's as simple as that. And it should
Say that
always
again
be
now. Say
men
that
hunt,
again.
men hunt and women choose, or the one
And
before
the
it.
thing before that about the table.
Strongest negotiating position is being able to walk away from the table and mean it.
I love that.
How many men weaken their value by saying, Krystal, yeah, I'm done. I'm done. Walking away. And then a week later, hey, so have you thought about what I said? Dude. And it's hard. It's hard because you women they're phenomenal. It's how long is he going to wait till till he responds to me? Because you also have the lack of scarcity mindset because social media has created a never ending funnel for women. So, it's like, I say it all the time.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Like, okay, for me, let's just say for me, for example, maybe you think or assume that there's like just tons of men in my DMs, like, oh my God, you're so this and that. Blah, 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 blah. There's really not.
No, because no, not for you. No, and I think the alpha female is a contradiction. I don't think that they can have one. I think it's a pack mentality leader, and mostly males are leaders. So alpha female, I don't know if I agree with that term, but you're a standout, and you can't be played, right? Number one, you can't be played. Number
Yeah.
two, a woman like you has to force a man to wind up coming with his A game. So you know what? It's just changing the dynamics of, it's shit or get off the pot. It's, if I get involved with this woman, this is commitment. Am I ready to do this yet? So the men who do slide in your DMs or tell you something, it's, hey, this is what I want. It's a commitment. I'm not interested in playing games. So yeah, you have a tough position because I don't agree with it. I've heard other psychologists talk about how men are intimidated of successful women. I don't know how. I think it's a fuel thing because I think women drive towards that ceiling for success because they want subconsciously a man to surpass them, to show, okay, he's a man. He's a man. He's going to, I want him to try to outdo me. And I just don't think a lot of men are up for that, that inner competition. So
well, let me say this. So a lot of what attracts men to me is what they see like through social media, whether it's modeling stuff, whether it's my voice and power, that's attractive to them. Then as soon as they get to know me or they become vulnerable, that becomes a weapon and the jealousy sets in and all that other stuff. So it's very interesting, to have this conversation with someone like yourself, because you fucking get it, Dom. Like you get it.
I just talked about that. Every woman online. See, I see it differently. And, you and I are friends, and my attraction level to you as a human being, as a female, yeah, of course, you're sexually attractive. You've got a very classy and erotic vibe, but at the same point in time, too, I know you're submissive. I know that you are submissive by nature to the right man, 100%. There's no question. It's just how you're going to be. It's also your upbringing. But I said this. Yeah. I said this on a video, which is actually, I think I got 500,000 views in 3 days over on TikTok, where I'm driving along the other day and I think I'm listening to some kind of podcast and they were talking about, men and they lose interest after they have sex. And I'm like, when you think about it, men, we have that post-nut clarity, right? We think we like a woman, and after we wind up having sex with her, we want to make sure that those feelings still are there. And then sometimes we're like, ooh, I don't like you as much as I thought I did. And it's unfortunately, it's a biological thing. Women, you guys have the same thing after a man commits. It's there. Both sides want the chase. We want to chase you to get
Right.
in bed. Women want to chase to get that commitment. And I've said it. I can't tell you how many women want exactly what they see online from me. And the two things that I get the most criticism for from women is, why are you so quiet? Because the camera's not on. We're not talking. It's just you and I. We're alone. I don't have to be on. I don't have to perform. And then the other
Right.
thing is, why do you communicate so much? I am so in tune with my feelings, my insecurities, everything, that I'll talk about them because I
Yeah.
think that it's a good place to be. And it's never a guessing game with me that women are so turned off at my personality that is not online because they just want the asshole they see online. And it's a challenge and it's a chase. And every single woman who says, no, I don't want that, and blah, blah, blah. There's a subconscious need for a woman to
Yeah.
get a man to commit to them. And once they do, we have to go back to that availability, the lack of scarcity. Availability is all over the place. All right, Dominick's interested in me. He's committed to me. He says I'm the only one he wants. Great. Well, let's see what else is over here. It's just how we are with human nature. So both men and women are at fault.
But do you think that that is more recent, in more recent times, like with social media and all of the availability that's there? Or do you think that that is just in nature? That's how it is? Because for me, let me just, before you even answer that, let me just say, when I was, my ex and I from 4 years ago or whatever, like I said out loud, I was having dinner with my friends one day. I'm like, I want a relationship. And that was like the first time they ever heard me say that in LA. And they're like, wow, that the next week I met my ex and like right away he wanted to be in a relationship with me. And I was like shit myself. I was just like, oh, well, I didn't know what to do. Like, I didn't know what to make of that. And even though I really, really cared about him and I knew that I wanted to be with him, like just to cross that line, I was just like, I don't know if I could do this. Like, I don't know if I could be with him and all that stuff. So it's just interesting, like you said, about all the psychology and stuff, but then going back to social media and all that other stuff, do you think that that is a big part of it?
Feminism, social media, the vilification of the 1950s where you had a woman staying at home and a man earning an income. Everything's been a culmination of it. You know what I was talking, or I wasn't talking, I was reading to somebody else's article years ago, talking about how the roles were reversed years and years and years ago, that actually women were the ones who pursued men and it wasn't the other way around. And then
Wow.
we're told that their value had to be, kind of shelved and then let men chase them. So the number one thing is it's lack of communication. What is so
Yeah.
wrong? I talk. What is so wrong with saying, hey, listen, A, B, and C, that's what I want. If you don't want it, they don't align, I'm good with that. The problem
Right.
is I do like the little games though, right? I mean, I do like the flirting and the questionable, is he really into me? And the pursuit, and I like all that
Right.
stuff. So it really does boil down to how do you balance out being very clear in your intentions and then
Yeah.
still keeping things exciting. So I don't know, but I think social media has done a damn big problem with it.
I do too. It's even men that are faithful, like one of my relationships, I won't say which, but we were inseparable. We were the love of each other's lives. And at one point, like he's constantly like commenting on girls' pictures or liking them and all this other stuff. So it crosses a really strange line of that being disrespectful, or you're just reading too much into it, or you double tapped on a picture and you kept scrolling. Like this whole new world that we're in when it comes to dating and relationships or even marriages. It's a very fine line between, oh, well, you can look at it that it's just like porn or something, but it's like these are real people that you could actually communicate with if you want to do. With porn stars, like you're probably not going to be having conversations with these people. So what do you think about that?
I think you have to, I am one of those guys that's weird. I do want I'm taking a lot of heat online too, that I did not know. So far I've seen there's been 10 studies that women say that after their significant other, a man, has cried in front of them, they lose a level of attraction to them, because women, for some strange reason, are now at the point where men are not supposed to be vulnerable to them. I got my own problems. I'm a sinner and a half, but I'm still part of a church men's group where I'm sitting around one day and I'm not married, I'm single. And the guy's like, we got to talk to my Christian brothers about this because there's just some things you can't tell your wife. And I'm like, what? I am that guy that I do want the best friend that I can treat like a queen, be supportive, and both share the spotlight in different aspects, but compliment that one, treat like an unbelievable whore in the bedroom, and then also have like my partner in every way out there. I think you should be able to have that. So I found that when obviously, you know, I've watched porn, and I remember my younger relationships where there was the lack of communication of, why are you watching this? And you have a woman who, you know, doesn't want her man to watch porn. And it's like, why are you doing this? Why are you watching this? And you're like, why can't you explain it? Guys do not know how to articulate themselves to women. Hey, you know, this is what was going through my head. And again, then you get into the whole sexual fantasy thing where both parties are very afraid to tell their partners, hey, this is what I'm into. Why didn't you tell me that when we first got together? I didn't feel safe. All that. That's a whole nother conversation. But the concept is that I think men need to lead, and it needs to be, I think women are so dynamic that, and I've said this before, man, if you're a man that creates a safe, loving, trustworthy, open, protective environment for a woman, there's nothing she won't tell you. There's nothing you can't get her to do in the bedroom. And there's nothing that you won't find reciprocating all of your primal needs too. So it's communication. And I think a man has to lead that.
No, I agree with that 100%, Dom. And that's one of the biggest things is people are afraid to express themselves, or they don't know how to express themselves. And then you get into like a whole bunch of different things of how your needs aren't being met and all this other stuff. But it's not my fault that you don't know how to communicate, or it's not your fault that I don't know how to communicate properly, that I'm looking elsewhere for it because I don't know how to say it. Like, that's insane. And part of social media being so easy, it's like or you could double click on a woman's picture, or I could do it as a man, and 2 seconds later they could be like, oh, hey, like, how are you? I saw that you like my picture, blah, 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 blah. So something so innocent as being like, I like what I see, can turn into something else when you're in a committed relationship.
No, there's nothing innocent about that. I think that there's boundaries that has to be drawn. I've got my own kinks, right? But I also have tunnel vision on. When I'm dating a woman, no, you will not see me liking another female's thing, because I can't justify. Why is it, if I'm dating so-and-so, am I seeking something? Why am I giving something else attention, even if it's liking? I better have a damn good reason. Or I honestly sit there, I better say, hey, listen, just to let you know, I'm about to like somebody's photo because this is the things I like about this. Maybe it's the planner in the background. I don't friggin' know. So I want you aware of why I'm doing this. If this is a problem for you, let me know. I respect you enough not to do it. There's so many ways of communicating to avoid that stuff. I think it's complete and utter garbage where people are like that. I do think that it's a man's job we go back to the protection aspect. I don't care how confident of a woman is. Women by nature always suffer from some level of insecurity. As do men. Your viewers are probably gonna get pissed at me for this, but I think it's a man's job. I don't mind constant reassurance. I don't mind. The hottest woman in the world is going to have some level of confidence that needs to be boosted and reassured. And as a man, I like that. I like going, hey, you look absolutely fantastic today. And I'm going to tell you, you know this, because I'm sure if this has never happened to you, I'd be shocked. But how many women on the planet will go out to spice up the bedroom? And what's the typical thing they do? Go to Fredericks of Hollywood, if that's still around, or Victoria's Secret, get something sexy to wear, walk in the room with it on. The guy goes, oh yeah, that's nice. And then goes back to watching TV. And it's not the response that you wanted. You're never going to do it again. So the problem is with both sides, it's the reaction. Because I've experienced this. I've sat there and said, hey, we've been dating a while. You know, it's been 3 months. I really want to put the lampshade on my head in the bedroom today and hold the rubber chicken and sing Ethel Merman show tunes. And then you watch the person go, the f is wrong with you? And after that's their response, I'll never bring it up again. So we talk about this on my show, where now in the beginning, if I'm dating somebody, it's, hey, listen, I find you attractive. I want to see you on a second date. But there's some things that, you know what, maybe deal breakers for you that I'd like you to know about me, because it's sex, finance, politics, faith. Those are all things that you really have to establish if you're going to get in a relationship. So I'll come off the bat, hey, listen, these are the kinks I'm into. May not be for you. And I always bring it up for a reason. Doesn't matter if somebody DMs me, oh, you're so hot, I want to date you. I go, yeah, okay, are you into this? I always bring it up, not because I want to see if they're into it or not. I want to see how they respond. I want to see if they say, oh, what is wrong with you? Or, oh, yeah, I don't think I could ever. Oh, yeah. All I want is the response of, all right, explain to me why you're into that. Now I know you can communicate. And that's rare.
That is very rare. So women do that, Dom. They say, oh my God, I want to date you. Like, I'll get here and there, like you're so hot, or something like that.
Mhm.
I love that bug.
Oh, I got the wrong one. Sorry. That's my water mug. Oops. Forgot about that one.
Um, so it's interesting. And this is another thing that's very interesting. Now women will go right after men because of social media. They will go right into their DMs, be like, oh my God, you're so hot, like whatever. And that's changed the dynamic too for dating, relationships, everything.
I'm very public about it too. The amount of married women I speak to is it's astronomical.
Alarming.
Oh yeah, because of one reason. And I will throw them back to their husbands because it's like you're flirting with me and I'll fully take advantage of it, right? I'll admit that. If I'm single, I don't care. I'm a completely different person committed, and that's just how it is. But if
Yeah.
I'm talking about, I will flirt with a married woman, I'll say, and I will be able to dig out every deep, dark secret, and then I'll turn right around and say, why doesn't your husband know about this? Well,
Yes.
he would leave me if he knew. Okay, you're
Wow.
into this. You don't tell your husband. You married the wrong guy. And granted, men are ridiculous. We have talked. We used to have adult Wednesdays on my show where we talked about the psychology
I
of sex
know.
all
I
the time.
remember.
And a lot of women, yeah, because I know it makes you uncomfortable. And I know a lot of women, because this is clinical. This is not for the sake of any type of perversion, but clinically, a lot of women have a restraint, rape fetishes, fantasies, or against their will, and they're afraid to talk to their husbands about it because they're worried about being judged. And guys, how do you sit there and have the mother of your children you've been married to for 5, 10 years, this and that? She's demure, she's sweet, around your family all the time. She comes to the bedroom and says, "I think I want to be forced raped by a stranger." It's how is your reaction as a man supposed to be to that? But here's the problem, right? Because men are such visually sexual beings, women are more sexual than men. They just have a different dynamic of dealing with it. But men, this is why we watch porn, right? We'll watch certain type of genres on porn, this, that, and we have Italians. What do we have? We have our gourmands, right? Which I never understood. Why can't you do everything you can with one with your significant other? But completely different again, too.
Yeah.
But
Please.
it's all the delivery. It's the delivery of going, okay, my wife is into this. It's not you have changed. You've changed. I don't know who you are anymore. It's you've evolved. But you obviously are coming to me telling me you want this, which means you want to explore this with me. I have to shelve my ego. I can't be threatened. I have to figure out, did I do something right? Did I do something wrong? It more people need to, I think, if have a therapist as a medium to have these
100%.
conversations, because
Yeah.
there are so many women who, more women than men, who sexually repress their desires, and they just, well, I'm just going to deal with it. I'm going to deal with it. And then there's more men, they don't sexually repress. What do? They cheat.
Cheat.
They cheat. Women cheat for emotional reasons. Men cheat for sexual reasons.
Uh, it's very frustrating. So, okay, let me ask you this. If, say, these women that are messaging you, would you consider that cheating? And would you consider once a cheater, always a cheater?
So I was a cheater big time in my 20s. So I know that, yes, is the tendencies there? Of course, 100%. And if I act, so this is one answer to two parts. I know what the keys are. And yes, the second if I'm in a relationship, second I start reaching out to somebody else, it's cheating. 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Yes, there is no, well, it's physical. It was innocent. No, it's cheating. Where's your intent? If you can't come to your partner and say, listen, I'm struggling with something, and it's making me feel like I need to access outside stimulus to keep me, going in this relationship. Can we talk about this? Now, if you're hitting brick wall after brick wall after brick wall, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Then, yeah, what else are you going to do? I mean, start divorce papers if you can, and then go find something else somewhere, but make the attempts. Make the attempts to save it first.
Okay, next question. Why do you think that so many people will stay in a marriage and cheat rather than get divorced?
Convenience, financial, lazy. How many women are we still at the day and age where women can financially take care of themselves? How many women want to be financially taken care of by a man? Because that dynamic is never going to change. Children, pride. I can't tell you how many women do not want to get divorced because they view it as failure.
Right. Both women and men, are you saying, or just women?
I say women, I say men. No, I think men is financial. I know courts are different throughout the country, but you're paying alimony, and it's usually leaned against the man more than it is the woman.
Okay. I want to go back to something you said earlier about the studies that you read about women losing attraction to men that, are vulnerable or, cry or whatever. I think every guy I've ever been with has shown me that emotional side. And for me, it has never made me lose attraction towards them. It actually made me feel closer to them and vice versa. But I'm an empath and people always come to me with their problems. So maybe that's just different.
Sure, sure. The it starts with the primal sexual attraction, and that's where it's going to start with. I have no doubt that with women like you, that the emotional bond thickens and deepens. I have no doubt of that at all. But then again, go back to the beginning. What were you originally attracted to him for in the first place? What was the primal aspect of it? What was the machismo behind it? What was the strength in the manhood? Now, now that there's, well, you got that saying, familiarity breeds contempt. No matter
But if
how
they,
much, go ahead.
I'm thinking of every relationship I was ever in, like their strengths attracted me, their personality, whatever it was attracted me. But having that, knowing that that vulnerable side exists and that they're comfortable enough to bring that to the table with me and feel safe enough, like that makes me love them or fall even more in love with them more
It's a safe
than
place.
less.
Sure. That's love. That's deep, right? That's love. That's not
Yeah.
impulsive, primal, libido-driven attraction that we impulsively can't control off of somebody new and meet, and the mystery of people. Like I said, you get it's familiarity breeds contempt. Is how many times you have, like, you take a celebrity couple. Yeah, I don't care. Take Ryan Reynolds and his wife, and every woman on the planet wants to wind up marrying him. But what's her name? Blake, whatever her name is.
Blake
Prob-
Lively.
Probably knows exactly what he's like. First thing he gets up in the morning, scratches his ass, goes to the bathroom, and she's like, yeah, I got, I get to, every woman wants him. You could have him. How many times probably has he pissed her off in a conversation where she's like, you want him? Go ahead and take him, all you women up on social media. So again, it's that familiarity breeds contempt, but it also does deepen things. And I think one of the things that social media really has done, which is horrible, horrible. We were talking about this last night, is this trend of mostly women, and because men do it too, but they disrespect their male partners online. And we were talking to, we're trying to have a couple come on, and they're actually about 30 minutes from me in my area, but they have a huge TikTok account. They got about 500,000 people following them on TikTok. And a video she did, they're a younger couple, early 30s. And the video they did was she took the audio, the ew David from Schitt's Creek. And every time he did something like eat cereal, she'd go, ew, David. Or he was clipping toenails in bed, ew, David. So I did a Stitch video, and I'm like, guys, this, whether or not you'll believe this, but you got millions of people viewing your video. Your wife is cuckolding you online. It's going to subconsciously mess with your head in some way. And she commented on a bunch of videos, and actually we had a conversation offline, and she explained, no, he's not like this in person. He actually is the alpha of the family. He leads this. And I said, would you come on the show? Can we talk about this? Because he's playing a character online, and he's somebody different, in private. But what are people perceiving in relationships now? It's okay. I grew up with this. I've got Italian parents. My father ate shit his entire life. Worked, worked. And my mother ran the household, and it was I'll never forget. I'm 21 years old, and the way that my mother talked to my father forever, I thought that's love. I'm dating a girl. We're dating for several months. We're on our way to go dinner to her house, her family's house, and I'm driving, and she goes, "Try not to be yourself at my family's today."
Wow.
No, no. My heart started pounding, and I went, "This woman loves me," because only when you reach a certain level of comfort and commitment do you ever talk to somebody that way. I didn't realize it was disrespect, but I interpreted that as love. But you see that everywhere on social media now. And it's both parties, but it's more so women doing it to men.
I don't know. I've never really noticed that, but your radar is like a lot on relationship stuff. Like I don't see it that much. But you're saying that, so I can definitely understand that. I know that coming from an Italian household, like my mom is the boss and that's it. Doesn't go any other way. It goes her way or it doesn't go any way.
I don't know how we got that way. Every Italian woman I know, when we talk, or male we talk, it's always the female who runs a family. We don't know what happens behind closed doors. I know my father's got a baritone voice that when he screams, it'll shake the whole house, but he's never done it in front of us. So I don't know what the conversations have been with my parents when we weren't around, but in front of the kids, in front of everybody, it was funny because he just took it when she dished it out. So again, my sisters My sisters are borderline verbally abusive to the men they date, and the men they date take it. And I'm
Right.
like, all right. And that's what I dated for a long time. I probably stopped dating those type of women probably within the last 7, 8 years. So it was a long time.
Yeah. And it takes a really long time to notice your relationship patterns and why you're following those patterns or where they came from. Like you just said, you tend to look for people that are either like your mother or your father. My brother always dates women that are like his mother and wonders why there's complete chaos all the time. And I attracted a lot of men that were a lot like my father, which were kind of like more reserved. Like the last person that I was with was more alpha, but majority of the time it was like I was the alpha, even though you don't agree with alpha females, but
No, it's a different term, and I'd have to get a proper definition for it. I'm not saying that women can't be alphas and leaders, but it's a contradictory term in the definition. I'd have to find that out. So
yeah,
I'm a misspoke in the characterization of it.
no, that's okay.
I
So
said
it's
all the
just,
time. I think the perfect dynamic of men and women and in a marriage relationship was featured in the movie 300. The scene where Leonidas, the king of Sparta, masculine, uber masculine, whatever you want to joke about Greeks, go ahead. But in this particular aspect, he's about to kick a Persian down a never-ending well. And before he makes a decision as king, what does he do? He looks to his wife
to this woman, yeah.
for support and approval. And she gives that nod. She doesn't nod like so everyone else can see it. She gives a subtle nod so he knows, and he saves space for decision making. It was that's it. It's like, okay, you got my yeah, all right. That is what a relationship should be, as far as I'm concerned. There's our both.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with you. I've been watching Downton Abbey, and it's an old series that came out several years ago, but it's just the courting of the way men are with women. And after it's like they've known each other a week, and he was like, I love you. I'm in love with you. I want you to be my wife. And I'm just like, holy shit, you skipped a few steps, but it's just so like everything is so different. And I don't think it's for the better anymore. I think it's very difficult for people, obviously, in relationships today, and with people just not staying together anymore and not figuring it out because of mainly social media. Like, as much as it's connected us, Dom, like I wouldn't have known you if it wasn't for social media. Through all this stuff, like there's a really great qualities about it, but when it comes to relationships, there's too many lines that are being crossed, and no one really knows how to deal with it. Like you're Google searching, like, should I get mad at my partner for liking someone's picture? I mean, it's like unknown territory, uncharted waters, and it's making things pretty difficult.
Leo Biscaglia, he is another Italian from University of Southern California back in the 60s and 70s. He used to do lecture tours all the time, wrote on the topic of love. And he said in the 70s, studies were done that said the average relationship lasts 3 months. Think about it today. How easy is it to get pissed off at your significant other, go on social media, get attention from somewhere else? It's all it is. I'm pissed. Great. Okay, whatever. And communication is just impossible. It's just for most people. I think they don't know.
But Dom, if you're getting attention from another female, like for me, if a male gives me attention and he's good looking, like that that means nothing to me. That means absolutely nothing. Like if I don't have that kind of connection, like an energetic connection, that's from me, like being a really connected person. Like I don't care. Like I met this guy, probably has, I don't know how many millions of followers, but I actually was meeting up with his manager and he came to meet us for dinner. I mean, drop dead gorgeous Puerto Rican, Hispanic, whatever he was, guy. And he sits down. He had no personality, like whatsoever. And I was like, I wouldn't even want to lay next to you in nothing. And that's just me. So when you're saying if you get in a fight with your significant other, whatever, you can just get attention from somewhere else. Like that attention means balls to me.
For most people. Yeah, it isn't. And again, I don't date casually. I go years without being in relationships. I commit hard and then that's it. And it blows me away how many women think I'm getting laid all the time. And I'm like, you don't understand something. Sex, the casual sex, although may have done something back in my 20s for the sake of ego feeding. Ooh, I can pull this girl. It doesn't do anything anymore because If I don't have that emotional connection, I think this had a lot to do with age, I can't get off. I don't care if it's the hottest woman in the world. If I don't know her, where's the chemistry connection that adds to the physicality? Now I know that's a feminine quality that I have in me, and I'm damn well glad to have it. I love that side of me. But yeah, I love when the hottest woman in the world slide in my DMs, because I'm like, you do nothing for me. Well, what do you want? You know, it's just, so that's the only ego feed I get out of it. But other than that, no, there has to be that. I've become a sapiophile in my old age, and I keep telling the women, you want me, going from 6 to midnight, you better get my brain going. I can't do that.
No, I hear you. There's many ways to stimulate the mind, body, and soul, and it's not just a physical thing. And I think that's the biggest misconception right now, is like thinking that you can post gorgeous pictures of yourself and whatever, and just have whatever you want and be fulfilled by it. There are some people that are like that, and that literally do all this vanity stuff for those reasons, for likes, for comments, and all that shallow bullshit. But with me, and I think everybody's had a different experience with this great awakening that's happened the last 2 years, but for me, it's that any kind of sexual interaction is sacred. And I don't want or need any parts of a person unless I'm connected to you in all the ways. Not just like, oh, wow, he's really hot and I'm lonely. Like, I don't get lonely. Like, I am fulfilled in myself. Like, I have so much shit that I'm doing on my own. I'm always working on myself constantly, but to give anybody even my time for a conversation because I'm lonely, like, it won't happen. I don't want it. What?
It is beyond superficial, and it's beyond exhausting right now. I have somebody who I don't even know was in my DMs, and they were like, hey, something blah 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 blah. You could always use more friends. And I'm like, no offense, I don't know you. I don't know what bridge we could gap right now. I'm not looking for friends, because the amount of effort it takes to generate. I mean, this is 47 years of starting on saying, all right, so hey, let's talk about back when I was in my teens. One of the greatest things I ever heard was I dated a girl 7 years ago, and she's like, I'm tired of starting over. And I'm like, oh my God, 100%. I'm so tired of having to tell my story again, because it's exhausting. So yeah, I have no desire to put that energy out there, because unless somebody's worth it, man, I'm not. No, I don't want to start with so where did you grow up around? What's going on?
No, absolutely not.
I look for the organic connection that that things are that you're operating well in the now. And then those things are come up later on. Oh, I didn't know you were like that when you were 18. Yeah, I did. That just adds to what's going on. I don't want to start with talking about the similarities of back when we were in high school and shit, because it's so far gone.
It totally is. So another question I wanted to ask you is, there's people that will say that you're a pervert, or you're this, or you're that. And like, I admire your honesty. Like, I absolutely love it. I don't find it offensive, not one bit. But how do you respond to those type of comments?
I don't deny it. A video that had a lot of pull on my social media was, a lot of people like to think that if they can put my dirt out there, it's a gotcha moment. I ran for sheriff out here in Chicago several years ago, excuse me. And I have that address of, you could bring up a topic and I'll talk about it openly, and I'll take the fire out of what you're trying to torch me with. So somebody got a hold of, hell hath no fury like a woman's scorn. So some woman I was sexting with was pissed that the attention was done. So she took the text message I had with graphic detail, gave it to somebody else, and somebody was putting up online, oh my God, he's into this. Oh my God, he's into that. And I was like, yeah, I am. Yes, I am. See, the one thing is, I'm very aware of the things that I've talked about that affect my kink driven, perverted, taboo, sexual desire behavior. But again, I know exactly where it came from. I know exactly what drives it. I know exactly that the more that people actually talk about it, my view is, somewhere in America, there's some guy who's like, oh my God, I want to see my wife with 3 other men today, and I don't know why. And he thinks, am I gay? What is this? Am I looking to be a cuckold? Is this the hot wife lifestyle? What am I getting out of this? And he doesn't know how to wind up articulating it. And the woman is going to sit there and judge it. What do you want me with what? And then some other woman's going to be like, I want that too, but I don't know how to bring it up to my house. We have vilified sexual desires. We vilified it. And you know, I'm also a Christian, which is the hypocrisy, because people like,
That's what I was just going to say.
100%. People will all the time, well, you're a Christian. How do you do that? Because I'm a piece of shit sinner is how it is. And I've talked about this too. It is impossible. It's not possible to avoid any temptation today when all you do is you pop this thing open. And if lust is your sin, I'm going to come across Krystal Tini. And Krystal Tini is this gorgeous woman she balances sexuality and erotica in a classy way. Well, I got to avert my eyes. It's not possible. So I think that the more people who come to terms with going, this is what I'm into. I don't know why. I want to get to the root of this problem. And they will live so much more peace and stuff because they're too embarrassed. And that's why people get leverage over people too. Again, people try to attack me with my stuff. And I'm like, yeah, you got a question to ask me. I'll tell you exactly why I'm into that. So yeah, I have no problem talking about that stuff.
Right. And I admire that, because if more people were like you, relationships would last a lot longer.
100%. I say it all the time. You know, I talk to a woman and I'll say, this is what I'm into. And I don't know if I could ever do that. I'm not saying I ever want you to do that. I want you to be aware of this so that if we're in the moment in the bedroom, because I love to talk and I bring it up, I don't need you with your bug eyes looking at me like, I need you with your bug eyes to go, okay, this is the stuff that gets his brain going. I want to know why he's willfully choosing to include me in this for his physical and emotional release. I want to know why he values me so much to include me in a part of that. And those are the conversations people aren't having.
I mean, you are
Screwed up.
one and very, no. Like I've never really met a person, maybe one other person that is as honest as you are with who they are and as comfortable in themselves as you are. Like there might be someone that I've spoken to that's like really, really honest, but still has like a lot of parts of themselves that they won't look at. So I'm not sure how deep you have dove into, you know, your emotional blockages and things like that, because there are certain parts of people
let me put it this way. I did therapy once. Was dating a girl who again had a problem with, I was always on, right? We would go to a restaurant because I was a cop. And so you're always on. So I went, what do you want me to do? Go to a therapist to find out why you can't relax. So I did. I shut her up, dropped $150. I went to a therapist. We had a conversation. The therapist told me, you are the most self-aware man I've ever met. I said, okay. So yeah, I'm very aware of my problems, everything, 100%. And I don't hide them. I am one of the most insecure men you will ever meet, but I know what my insecurities are. So they don't hold me back. What are they? Lack of success in anything I do. And I strive to succeed with everything. Lack of ability to maintain a committed partner. Height, I'm only 5'7". That's always an insecurity. So it's financial, it's protection and provision, it's physicality, the same thing as everybody else around. But I compensate by going, all right, dude, you're 5'7". So what? You know how many men who are over 6 feet tall that will come up to the gym to me and they will rush to shake my hand because, dude, I love what you say online. So right there, I'm 8 feet tall. I know it. My lack of or insecurity with any type of business puts me in a position to be a total immersion. So I excel at anything I do, and it attracts everybody to, oh my God, you're the best at what you do. Not yet, but I got to keep going. And then the concept with the inability to wind up maintaining the attention of a committed partner. Well, that's just thinning the herd. Oh, I can't get a woman to stay because she winds up leaving after a couple months. Cause I just, who cares? It just means I'm one step closer to somebody who's like, all right, hey, I've been following you for X amount of time. You're screwed up. You know who you are. I admire who you are. I admire these qualities about you. I'm screwed up. I will attract somebody who's got their own shit, somebody who is completely aware of it, has a bad past, and sits there and says, thank you for not judging me. I feel safe for you, with you. Right. So it's just, yeah, I embrace my insecurities because they absolutely, what can you attack me on? What? It's that saying, when you become fearless, life becomes limitless.
Yeah, it's very true, Dom. And I'm much of the same, you know, insane for, but like my body has always been an insecurity. Like I've had an eating disorder my entire life, you know, so I always strive for a level of perfection. So when people look at me like, oh my God, you have such a nice body, like I'm looking at it as um, you know, I've worked so hard my entire life for this body and I'm still not happy in it. And so just now I'm starting to be able to accept more of what I am. I still will work very hard, and still like look in the mirror and be like, you could have a little bit more less fat here, or you should have a little bit more abs there, but we're really, really hard on ourselves, but we also have the way of using our words and using those insecurities to help other people. Because when we put that energy out there to help other people, everyone feels less alone. And especially in this time, we've been these loud voices for people to say like, wow, I didn't know that you felt like that. Like, I didn't know, like, that makes me feel so much better because, this person thinks that I'm crazy for this or that. So the only thing that I know how to be is honest, and you're the same exact way. So I think that's why we had such a great friendship. Like, we could not talk for several months and you're like, hey, this is going on. Like, what do you think of this? And, we're just very honest people. And I think that is part of the reason why people look to us for things.
There's no tap dancing. I've never felt like a need. It was from day one, right? Day one, you and I sat there, we talked, and it was never I was never oh my God, this is a woman with a massive social media presence who's like a 10 on the female scale. And I gotta be on machismo to get her and to get her to give me my attention. It was, hey, what's going on? Hey, let's do something. I want to help. I want to talk to you about something. I'm going to treat you exactly how I want the conversation to go. It's whenever I have somebody new on the show, we always treat it like they've been a guest for 10 years. So it's just, hey, what's going on? How you, all right, we don't, oh, this is so-and-so, they're new to this. No, you start something meaningful as if it's always existed. So I think when you remove all that, you remove all the pressure for the BS, and there's no disingenuousness.
Yeah, absolutely. We have like a couple more minutes to chat about whatever we'd like to, but I'm just always glad to have you in my corner.
100%.
Because this has been such a crazy ride, Dom, but I can't say I like, so many people have been suffering throughout this time. And I feel that there's a lot of us that have been thriving by just being themselves and using their voices and using their passion and compassion for humanity to really help push things along. And whatever our backgrounds are, like, I mean, you were on the police force for a really long time. So you can give that perspective like no one else, because as soon as something happens with police, you see everybody has an opinion, and you should have held the gun like this, and you should have shot like this. And so when you give your honest, straight up perspective or factual information like that really helps open the minds of a lot of people. So I have to just thank you for doing that and just being so vulnerable and just like putting yourself out there in the way that most people never would.
Well, I both sides, doesn't matter what the topic is. I put out both sides because my way is not the end all be all way. I put up my opinion.
Right.
An opinion has to be based off of experience. So yeah, it's like, I condemn the police. I support the police. I condemn women for what they do to men. I know exactly what men do to make women, do things to men. So you have to look at both sides. If you can't look at both sides of the argument, don't open your mouth to contribute.
Exactly. Dom, you're the best. I love you. And I'm just so glad to have your time.
Appreciate it.
I owe you whatever you want.
You're going to come on our show. That's just it.
Yes.
We have you come on our show. So
well, you can tell me when.
Next week, you're going to pick a day and you're going to tell me this day works and you're going to come on.
Okay. That sounds good. You're the best.
I appreciate that.
Love you lots. So where can people find you and follow you?
They can find me. Our show is called The Rants of Izzo. Rants of Izzo. We're in our 4th year. You can see us on Rumble, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Anchor, and Facebook. We're a stream of consciousness show. We talk about everything from politics to porn. And you can find us there. Just search Dominick Izzo. It's Dominick with a K anywhere on social media, and you will get my opinions all over the place.
All over. Thank you again so much. And I'll chat with you soon.
You got it.
Have a good one. What'd you think of that? Let's just make sure that we're still recording. because I didn't do the commercials, and I was thinking of that. I'm like, oh my God, if I do another show without doing the commercial breaks, it's not going to be good. What's everybody? Okay, let's try that again. Why? You seem a little crabby.
No, I haven't had, well, my coffee hasn't kicked in yet. So, you know, here, let's see my cup. Can you read what that says?
Bungle.
Well, look at the bottom. What's the bottom say?
Dom, I can't see it.
It says Vavanculo is Italian for have a nice day.
Oh, is it? Dom, I know.
Okay.
No, I know.